Guys, welcome back to the Glory Today show. I'm just so excited about the program that we have today. My name is Glory, and I'm really in awe. I'm thrilled because today we are diving deep into something that has been dear to my own heart. Something to do with music as a musician and a minister of God as well. I understand that music play a big role in my life, so I hope it also does for you guys. So today we're going to dive deep into understanding spiritual warfare in music and how we can actually navigate it with wisdom and discernment. That last part is very important. Discernment is what we need in our life, in our day-to-day work with God. We've got an incredible guest in the studio today. Gigi is going to help us through this journey chronologically from ancient practice to demonic to demonic in the artists of today, and we'll even explore how Hollywood is now addressing these themes. This isn't about fear. Let's just do a disclaimer on this one. It's not about fear. It's not about freedom through knowledge. And DG here has quite an experience and a testimony as well. And together we just go on. We just take a look on all these topics and inspire you, just give you some nice way of looking at the world today, because the world today is super sneaky. So from ancient spiritual practices hidden in viral, even in African music, there's a viral African music that has more than 41 million views on TikToks, on all our social media platforms. And they will go to the rock legend and opening up the spiritual significance that is in rock, pop, hip hop, blues, all kind of music. So we will dive into a bit deeper. We will try to grasp as much wisdom that we can get, and by the grace of God and the help of Gigi here, we'll be able to really come up with amazing content. This is another short disclaimer. This is really about walking in freedom, discernment, and about God's truth. Don't miss it. Stay tuned. Gigi, I'm so thrilled. I'm so grateful you are here with us today. Welcome to the Glory Today show. And really, before we dive deep into this comprehensive journey, tell our viewer what makes you passionate about understanding warfare in music.
Especially ever since I've given my life to Christ. I've been baptized on the month of February. I've seen that a lot of changes has been happening spiritually. I've been a lot involved in worldly music of every type of genre you name it. I have like a bountiful experience when it comes to worldly music, and ever since I've given my life to Christ through baptism, baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I've seen that my old life, it's not it anymore. It's not it. So it's something that I've really still, I want to be as honest as possible. I'm still struggling with it. But if I can help the next person to see the signs, to see the underlying message, the double, the triple entendres, the images that they portray, the things that they try to promote, if I can help my next fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, that is a big step for me.
Amazing. Guys, this is going to obviously be an amazing show because we've done some research. We've looked into some videos that we thought are very interesting for us to discuss about today. And let's just start from the beginning, Absolutely. And music has always been a huge part of our lives. And I remember growing up, my dad used to bounce Bob Marley in the house. My goodness, it's by the grace of God that we are not deaf, because he used to play the music, and today we also see the spirituality and the purpose, that the plan of the enemy. He has like a strong purpose with the spirituality in the music today. So let me share most shocking discovery that we found so far. There is the viral song called Bo Coco by Roga Roga.
Yes.
Man. And this song has about plus 41 million views on
YouTube,
on TikTok and YouTube as well,
YouTube,
and many other platforms. So I think what we could do, especially since we're on this topic, let's see if we can just show you guys a snippet about what we're talking about in this song, because this song is quite it's something to behold. So without YouTube giving us a strike, we're just gonna play shortly, and then after we'll just pull back the volume and just focusing on the focusing just on the imagery itself, because the beginning of this song is profound. It's really profound. So just give me super sauce exactly, and then let's just show you guys this. This is amazing. Look at the beginning of it already. If you know anything about African culture and the African spirituality, I should say, you already get a picture of what's happening here.
Bokoko, Espebas, Nyata,
That's enough.
Gaela Tikaya la patrona, Gilda Sambendengesi.
Okay, we're not gonna go deep into this music because I don't want to be dealing with YouTube. So, but that's just that snippet. Let's just bring all this imagery. By the way, let me just bring this back, because Gigi and I know this. We in the Western world today, many people have this frame
Statues, yeah.
in their house, but they don't understand the origin of it, right? Can you just elaborate a little bit on this one?
Absolutely. So these statues that you see here, in the Congo we call it Ikeko, which it's
Ikeko.
literally translated, it just means statue. Like it's just, but the context behind those statues is they were used to communicate. They were seen as
Orders.
not, you can say orders, but more like, let me say, like a pass through to, it's
Like a portal, right?
yeah, like a portal. So basically how the spiritual
Yeah.
can come into the physical,
Exactly.
and they will go and they will manifest themselves. I think that's the perfect word. Manifest themselves through certain statues that you would see here. These statues are also sometimes used based on Congolese wrestling. Congolese wrestling has a lot of voodoo practices that comes with them, and most of them catch smoke, catch fire. Sometimes they even drop water. They have so much, well, I don't want to say power, because the true power lies in Jesus Christ, but for the sake of this argument, they have a lot of power that comes into those statues.
Indeed.
And now, of course, with the modern Western world, it's seen just as African art, and it's seen as African folklore or culture that, you know, it's nice to hang in your to put
In
it
your
in your
living
house,
room.
in your
Yeah.
living room. Is just to show how cultural you are and how far you have traveled. But
Exactly.
there is a very strong underlying message, and as you can see in the beginning of this video,
Yeah.
you can see the one of the statues just standing in front of the fire, and it's it's not as
Innocent.
happy and innocent, especially
As it
as
looks.
people perceive it to be. So it's a very ancient practice. It's a very,
Look at this beginning, laying on of hands, and the fire on his head. See that? I mute it, so I know you're just look at that. Oh my goodness! I mean, I think, guys, if you missed this one, you have to really pay attention to this. Look at this. What is this about? What in the world is this about?
yeah. And like I say, like you can see the spiritual incarnation within those statues, because if we look at the image honestly, it really looks like a human being just sitting there, standing still.
Yeah.
But it has deeper meaning. Is the Bokoko is literally the ancestral practices that is adapted in, I would say, Congo Kinshasa and Congo Brazzaville, because it's just the same country. Roga Roga, just for the sake of this information, is from Congo Brazzaville.
Okay.
Yeah, so that what you see there is just ancient practice. And he also, if I can inform you, in an interview, they also asked him why he was actually going for these types of image, while he knows
Yeah.
that, you know, Congolese culture is quite Christian.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he just said, like, listen, this is nothing evil. He just flats out. For him, it is nothing evil. It's just an ancestral thing for him.
Well,
And that's it.
could it be? Because this is so interesting. Because my next question to you was from my notes, like my next question was really specific on the spiritual significance of this type of practices. Because I was going to ask you, how do these old practices find their way into modern music? Why? Because many people are dancing to these songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're dancing in the weddings. They're dancing on a kind of activities, birthdays, at home, traditionally. But they don't understanding that they are participating in these ancient spirits concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted to ask, how do these old practices find their ways into modern music? Because some of you might be watching this program and you don't understand why this matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you just please, if you can, elaborate the significance of it? Because you just said, he said, it's nothing spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that?
No, he said more of it is nothing bad.
It's nothing
he knows
bad.
It is
spiritual,
because
but it's no bad spirit.
It's not bad spirit for him. While we all know that
we all know the truth.
We all know exactly the truth. And I think my assertion of how it finds its place into our modern day practices is based on like Christ said in the Bible, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And especially with how the world is going, and they more and more like, hopefully I will be guided by the Holy Spirit, that a lot of things that I've seen in my past, that I've put in my spirit, those filthy things that I've put in my spirit, that it will expose slowly but surely how it starts with, it sounds good, and then you will see the signs, and then it's like, well, it's not innocence. You're trying to separate the message from your feelings.
Yeah, but that's the lie, because even just the dance we can see here, you can see the dance. First of all, you see this imagery right now. You see the imagery that we are seeing right now on the screen, and then suddenly you move from this one, and then it goes to this one. Because many tourists goes to Africa and then you see somebody is dancing with snakes. Even you go to India, somebody's play with snakes. But these are not just normal practices.
No.
Because here it paints you a picture what that's significant, what that's signified. Because you have the statue sitting on the fire, signifying the devil, I believe. And you have the so-called, in South Africa, I call them Sangoma, a witch doctor, playing with a snake. And then from there, it moved next to the next image you're going to see here, people dancing on fire. Because all these are, from my experience, all these are like incantations. And in some of these dance today, we're practicing. Some of this musical ability we're practicing. Because is this this one you also mentioned to me about the solo, the way of playing?
Yeah, that's another video. That was what I told you about. There was this guitar player. His name was Flam Kapaya.
Flam Kapaya.
Yeah. Okay. And like I said, how can I say it perfectly? You see, in modern day Congolese music, even in gospel, you have a lot of the Seben style, which is a world style, and it had its inceptions and its revolution from the 60s with Luambo Makiadi, who came with Odemba, and then Pepe Kale, they came with Kwasa Kwasa, and it's like music it's like an evolution. Everyone comes with its own way. So now the Seben part comes, and Flam Kapaya is like everyone, I say it, and people can argue. We can have not a debate, but people can argue. But this is an undisputed truth. Every guitar player from Congo that they hand him a guitar and he wants to play the Sebenese style, they all go to Flam Kapaya. He is the foundation. He is the main ground for modern Congolese guitar players.
Really?
But luckily and by the grace of God, he found his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
He gave his life to Christ.
He gave his life to Christ, and he doesn't play none of the music that we all used to dance on, because he was legendary. But there was one specific thing, a specific song, because he was a guitar player for Werason. There was a song called Alerte Générale, and you can literally see him in a occult system, in a occult setting, playing the guitar.
Really?
Yes.
So, oh yeah, what did I type in there? So basically, his inspiration.
Yes. His inspiration used to come, in his own testimony, he said his inspiration used to come from demons. That's why, even when he was giving his testimony and there were certain people that would be like, Flam, try, if, it's your past life, but if you want, just try to play a little bit, just a little bit. He says, no, I can't do it no more. He can play the guitar perfectly, but to play those songs and those riffs and those melodies, he just can't do it.
So basically, for the musician out there, oh Lord have mercy, we sometimes copy things. We get inspired by many people. We watch online. We hear, oh, you know what? Okay, before I go there, what do you think about these things of saying, people like to say this, guilty of charge as well somehow. It's like, well, it is all from God anyway. The devil just stole it from us and we're taking it back.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, I know that.
I get where people try to. I'm not saying that I'm in an authority to disprove people's disbelief based on certain things. However, I can say, even the Bible says itself, to God what belongs to God, and to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And even though we know Caesar is a creation of God, but even the Bible can put the distinct between what Caesar is and what God is. And I think if we can apply that same energy on the music side of things, because even now, it's this, we are on the Congolese subject. If you listen to the Christian songs and the worldly songs, it's sometimes very hard to distinct one another. The style is unfortunately very similar.
My goodness. Even the dances.
Even the dances, it's like very worldly style, but it's just they put Jesus' name in it, and now it's unfortunate, I feel.
Yeah, and funny enough, there's a video I post on TikTok concerning Kirk Franklin, which we all grow listening to and adoring his ministration. But recent, I think it was, if not last year, the year before, he went a bit viral online because of a particular behavior on the stage that he was showing, or dance and stuff like that. And it was at BET this year, I think last month, it was at BET, and he was being scolded by Chris Rock.
I think it was Kevin Hart.
No, Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Was being scolded by Kevin Hart. And Kevin Hart, as far as I know, is no Christian. But if you hear what Kevin Hart was saying toward Kirk Franklin, that's why you see that Bible verse that comes in, like, God will try to correct you in private.
Yeah.
But if you don't listen,
He
will do it in public.
Yeah.
So, and that's the hard part of it, because in private, God has grace and mercy, but in public, then it become a public opinion, public thing, and they have no mercy. They go crazy.
Yeah.
So, is this the one you're talking about, right?
Yes, that's the video I'm talking about. I think about the 5th minute.
Just wait a minute, Kati. Yeah.
So, yes.
About the 5th minute.
I think about the 5th minute.
When he's laying down, was it?
Yeah, it was laying down. I think if maybe the 6th one, because it's also a long time.
Yeah, you can bring it up, Kati.
Yeah, I think if you go back, exactly.
That one, eh?
Yeah, that one.
Exactly. So, guys, let's just check this out, because you don't, because sometimes people hear us talking about these things and they think you guys are just yelling out your neck. You're just here, just making noises. But
there's no proof. There is no
There's no evidence of what you're talking about. So here are facts. Hear this music. Okay, let me just put it off because it's nonsense. This is that's the image right there. Did you see it? Did you guys saw it? This one is see, he's laying on the so-called altar. One might call that an altar. Let me go back. Am I going too far? Mercy. Hey, my goodness. Oh, even is this dancer is a traditional Congolese dance. This is like, I mean,
Yeah, it's
Congolese
just,
people are known by that.
by dancing way too much.
Yeah, using the hip. You know, you use the hips like you have no bone. Here it's coming. These are boneless women. Yeah. So he's laying actually in a half of a moon, and he surround himself with candles.
Yes.
And then there's is it one or two? One star next to
And
him.
if you, sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
because they say always the devil is in the
It's in
detail. If you look at the top of his guitar, doesn't it look like horns?
Yes.
Yes. He used to do that on purpose.
Himself said that.
Yeah, he used to do that on purpose.
So you think, no, man, that's just piece of art.
No,
There's nothing wrong with this, man. It's just, it's very artistic.
no, it's now people will say it's very artistic.
Yeah.
Until there is also another video which I didn't tell you when we met. He pulled out a guitar out of a coffin.
That's also art.
That will be, well, you know, if we play devil's advocate, that's
Yeah.
why, you know, they will say it is art, of course, but you know, people who are in contact, in connection with Christ, especially with myself as I'm still on this journey.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I also give the disclaimer, I don't want to make it seem like I'm accomplished, but like they do this. They really did this.
Purposefully. It is not just an innocent thing that
No.
there's nothing about.
No.
This is crazy. Because, my goodness, this is crazy. Okay, let's move on to the next phrase, because people might think like Congolese music is bad. It's only Congolese music that is diabolical, you know? Because,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know many people like to think witchcraft is only in Africa. So this next part, I like it because here we're going to dive into the rise of rock in the Western influence and the Western influence. So that's very interesting because I want us to take a look to the rise of rock and the Western influence. Gigi, this is where things become more obvious, right? Because in Africa, it's kind of merged into the culture. So
Yeah.
it's becoming sometimes complex to understand, is this now spiritual
Or not,
or this culture? Spiritual culture versus culture. But in the Western, we are going to look at people like AC/DC with the song Highway to Hell.
Yes.
You know, isn't just a song title, but it's a spiritual declaration. And the band itself openly admit the spiritual themes in their music. You also have a Marilyn Manson. You know that with those guys as well. Also, literally also admit that this music was designed for spiritual influence. It's been open about his intentions to impact people spiritually through his art. So all this we're going to just call, I'm just going to call a few. You also have like Black Sabbath, which I did not really know much about. This Black Sabbath, often considered pioneers of the heavy metals with obvious occult theme. So, and I know some people in our production room right now that have been going to some of these concerts that have a stage built, and you look at the stage, you just get blown away. I tell you, you look at the stage itself, and there's somebody in the production that showed me a picture of a friend of ours that went to the what kind of event was that? What? DEFCON.
DEFCON, yeah.
DEFCON, you know it?
I've heard about it, but I've never really indulged in it. But I've definitely heard. It's not a unknowing thing like that. People don't know. I've definitely heard about it. Yes, it's really famous.
People comes there from all over the place, and then she showed me a picture. I did not know I was going to talk about it. I'd have prepared a picture. She showed me a picture of the stage, the way the stage was built.
Yeah.
It was literally built, and the person was there is not yet a Christian. He's not yet a Christian. And the person who was sent a message said, "This really is," and I'm not exaggerating this one. He said, "This is really us worshiping, because there was a stage they built like an organ, like this big church,
Yeah.
the way the church are built,
Yeah.
put an organ on the stage like it, and she said, "We are here worshiping, except we are not worshiping God, we're worshiping the devil."
Yeah.
That's what the pastor herself said.
Crazy.
That's crazy. So you see also people in the world, some of you are able to recognize these things. They know what we're talking about here. So when you hear these things like, thanks for sending this to me. This is the image that they just sent me from there.
Yeah. I see it with the skulls and yeah.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
So it is crazy because if I can get this on the screen, let me try, guys. You see, and this is what now we're going to, we're trying to do things live. Let me see. Yeah, improvising. I can hear in my ear. We're trying to improvise here, guys.
But just to add a little bit, rock and roll has always had a strong satanic worship influence.
Yeah,
like you
indeed.
mentioned AC/DC.
Yeah,
but especially AC/DC. That's the first thing that I want to say. It's not only the influence, but what I also always want to inform people is the earthly reward that they get.
True.
Because
true.
Because the song "Highway to Hell"
Yes.
was on their album, I think was Back to Black or something to that nature. That album, Glory, sold 55 million copies, and we're talking about the 80s. 55 million copies. It's the second highest all-time selling album ever, of every country, of every genre. That's why I say the devil is in the detail. It's not just they just worshiping the devil. They rewarding them here, earthly.
Yep. Even though it's Showtime reward.
Yes.
It is there.
Still, even bands like Motorhead. Motorhead, they are also satanic worship. And how did I link that is because I don't know if you watch American wrestling.
Yes.
Yes. They made a song for Triple H calling him the Kings of Kings.
Seriously?
The King of Kings is going back on his throne. And funny enough, that same Triple H is now the owner of the biggest wrestling company in the world.
Look at that.
You see how it links between one
to
another.
Each its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne, like I showed you, there was a concert where he ate a bat in a vleermuis, a bat on stage. And after that stage, his main guitar player dies in a plane crash.
In a plane crash?
Yeah, plane crash.
After that?
Yeah.
Sacrifice.
Not long ago because his name was Rory Rhodes or Randy Rhodes, something like that. He was an up-and-coming. They were seeing him as the next big thing in rock and roll guitar play, and Ozzy Osbourne eats a bat live on stage, and I forget his name, but I think it's Randy Rhodes, something like that. He dies in a plane crash.
Let me look him up quickly.
Definitely. So this is what I'm trying to say. Like it's maybe people will say we're reaching, we're exaggerating, but we're just putting pieces together to see, like, listen, this happens, but how comes not long after it, this happens, and it's not a good thing.
Wow. Because the things about the world, because remember what the Bible said, that the road that leads to destruction is well decorated.
Yeah.
With all kind of good things, with all kind of beautiful things. That's why people like to say, before I became Christian, my life seems to be okay. When I become a Christian, things become so tough. You know, something that I used to get away with easily. Now I have to I have to fight through. I'm like, yeah, of course. Why? Because remember, the prince of this world will help you to make you believe that it's easy with him. It will show you how things are easy. It's like je gaat een contract afsluiten. You're looking for a contract. You're looking for an investor, and immediately they come to you like water in the park.
Yeah.
Really. And then you become a Christian. Suddenly, you start having some how do you call it? Resistance. My spiritual parents say this: if you do not meet the devil, you're walking with him. Let that sink.
That's a good
If
one.
you do not meet the devil, you're walking with him. Okay, so let's see. Just bring this on the screen, Kati, for me. Is the guitar player of this Solar. What the band was called Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Black Sabbath.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. They had even the song Hellraisers.
Hellraisers.
Hellraisers. There was also a very
because
popular song.
on my notes, I also spoke about this. Often considered pioneers of heavy metal with obvious occult themes. Because look at this, just the picture itself. Look at this face imagery, and they're the ones who invented the type of guitar, looking so aggressive. My goodness, what's the name of the? Is this the guitar player? Yeah, him, right?
Let me see.
Oh, this is a new guy.
I think those are the younger ones because I think Rhodes, well, if you put Ozzy Osbourne and then maybe Randy, I think his first name was Randy. Yeah, okay. I just saw him, like Randy.
Just saw him. Randy Rhodes.
Yeah. And died exactly. He died very young. He was...
My goodness. 25 years old. 25 years old. Oh my goodness. He was also a co-founder and original guitarist of the heavy metal. Okay. Diary of a Madman. What the... That's crazy, guys. This is what we're up against. This is what we're up against. Because next to that, you also, the Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin, yeah.
Because the band, I think, was called Zappa Plays Up or something like that. Because, no, Zappa Plays Up is by his son. Oh, yeah, that's it. His son took over because when he died, Zappa, let me just go, take this, play... Zappa, yeah, because Zappa plays Zappa is the son who took over when the father died, and he start following the legacy of his father. Oh my goodness! But what legacy are you following?
Exactly.
What legacy is this? Because now Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page was deeply involved in occult practices, and his influence. And this influenced his music, even the whole band's music. Now, we also research a few other people like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Leia. They have quite a bunch of them. But I do believe they're also worth mentioning because often as Christian, we have this thing of like, but what's wrong with listening to secular music? It's just music. There's nothing it's going to do to me. But listen, when we see the blues, from Africa blues all the way to this let's rock and roll genre, I'm just, what is your take on that? And how did you get from there all the way to the hip hop to today? How did you make that leap? Because I feel like we used to be more in the background, especially from African culture.
Yeah.
And then suddenly went from the rock and roll, and they remained in the rock for a really long time.
Yeah.
It did not really transfer quickly, according to me, to a hip hop until suddenly it just came. How did that happen?
The shift from rock and roll to hip hop.
With the devils.
Yeah. To be honest with you, a lot of people may not credit us, but us as Christians, is because we were heavily combating it. When we saw the people like Black Sabbath of Ozzy Osbourne's, AC/DC, Judas Priest, you name it, like Marilyn Manson, all these individuals, we were very combating them. because we saw the bad influences that they had on our on the children of that time, of course, the youth of that time.
Yes.
With the serial killers, like if you really notice it, in the 70s and the 80s, it had a lot of serial killers in the United States, and people who were just like that. Influence really comes from that rock and roll, heavy metal. So we were combating that. And the funny thing is, hip hop started as a positive type of thing. It was
true.
It was really a
hip
thing
hop
of
R&B. I think it's something that came from church.
R&B is something that came from church.
Yeah.
If I can remind you, I don't know if you ever watched the movie Ray, the life movie of Ray Charles. Was played by Jamie Foxx. He even won an Oscar for it. This is 2004, yeah. And
maybe I have.
Yeah, I think if you see it, maybe.
Is that how you spell it?
Ray Charles. Yeah, just
Ray Charles.
Yeah, there was a movie done by Jamie Foxx. He actually won the Grammy of Best Actor of that year.
All right, then.
Even if you in the movie itself, it tells you this because there was a scene where. Actually, he is the first one who made the shift from R&B, like, let me just, for the sake of the argument, R&B being like a Christian thing to worldly things. There was a scene in the movie itself where he, I don't know if you ever heard of the song of I Got a Woman Way Over Town.
No.
She give me money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a Christian song.
He mentioned it on BET.
Yeah, that's a Christian song. That's not a word. He changed the words of God and made it I got a woman. So and then she gives me money. In the movie,
seriously?
Yeah, and in the movie you can see his wife saying, Ray, what you're doing is blasphemous. What you're doing is blasphemous. And he said, no, it's just a song.
It's a love story.
And then he even performed it and people were telling him it is blasphemous. You're gonna go to hell, you're using God's name in vain. It is not supposed to be like that. So that shift happened in Ray Charles came out in the 50s. That's how far back it goes.
My God, because now, because I do believe that's so true, and what concerns me is how this Western influence spread globally now.
Yeah,
affecting music cultures worldwide, including even in Africa. Because yes, of course, in Africa we used to be in tradition stuff. Music in Africa is like in the blood, and we used to use it differently. But today, you see it's even influencing much more. You see hip hop.
yeah.
The modern influence of hip hop today is massive. And let's just dive into hip hop a little bit.
Yes.
Because I also research artists like Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you say Jay-Z, of course, you cannot miss saying Beyonce.
Yeah.
Kanye, who call himself today. How does he call himself today? Yeah, he doesn't call himself Kanye West anymore. Jesus.
Yeah. But like to go back on the hip hop thing, like I say, like when people tell us that we're assuming things, we're just putting the links out there. Like I said, like when the rock and roll thing started was this openly demonic, satanic thing.
Yeah.
Christians used to combat this. And then I'm not saying that hip hop derives from Christianity, although we can see there are in the 40s and the 30s, you see people similar raps, but like Christian wise. But back to the story, you had this positive hip hop of like, go to school, make your parents proud, and all these types of things. And then why they say Satan is the best of deceivers, because it's like he see things from afar, because he saw this positive grow in hip hop, and then suddenly in 1988, the same thing that rock and roll was doing with this kind of demonic lyrics and satanic lyrics, all of a sudden you saw bits and pieces coming out of hip hop. And then of course it started with the gangster rap. I don't know if you saw the movie The Straight Outta Compton, that was very popular when...
What's the name of the movie?
Straight Outta Compton, with Ice Cube. Like basically Ice Cube started was in a group called NWA, and they were kind of the pioneers of, you know, the gangster rap, the shooting people, we robbing you, we doing such and such. But then from that point, it really started to become satanic. You saw verses like, you know, the best example that I can put, because the first link I did was with AC/DC, Highway to Hell. They sold 55 million copies.
Yeah.
And then you have a very famous artist, Snoop Dogg, that came out in 1993,
Yeah.
who had a song called Murder Was the Case.
Yeah.
Now, if you...
But just before you go deeper, because this
Yeah.
is getting hot. It's getting hot up here. So, but you also see the rewarding system of the devil.
Yeah.
Why? Because now all these probably artists, they saw, oh, somebody made a music about the devil. And they really got rewarded.
Yeah.
Because that's what also many Christians, I know some talented guys today who choose to play for the world because it's more rewarding.
It's rewarding.
And that's just a shame as well somehow, because I do believe like in the kingdom of God, we need to do better. We need to learn how to reward talents when we see them. Why is the world more rewarding? Why most philanthropists are from the world side and less few? I'm not saying there's no Christian philanthropists, but very, very, very few, very minimum comparing to the world. So basically, hip hop artists, gospel artists, people used to minister in the church, like Beyonce and them.
Yeah.
They decided to what? To shift to where the money was. Please continue.
Yeah, definitely. That's why even with R&B singers, they always say you're not a true R&B singer unless you did what? Unless you sang in the church before. That's why Whitney
True.
Houston
That's where
started
they
in
all grew up
church.
from.
Beyonce started in church.
My goodness. Even Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, they started in church.
Rihanna, I'm not sure, but
Aretha Franklin
Aretha
started
Franklin.
in church. Yeah, Rihanna doesn't really sing. She's more of a Caribbean style.
yeah.
But Aretha Franklin started in church. Mariah Carey started in church. Every major singer, like even if I can go to the male side, Luther Vandross started in church. Marvin Gaye started in church. Michael Jackson was a Jehovah Witness. Came from a Jehovah Witness family.
Yeah.
So it's all
God created
yeah.
talents.
Sam Cooke started in
anointing.
church. Like I can go the list
are many.
all the
There are
way
really
down.
many.
Usher started in
Yep.
church. That's why, like I say, the saying in R&B is you're not a real R&B singer unless you start
in the choir.
you start in the choir. And you get all this God-given talent that God gives you in his house. And then you go like Ray Charles, who started singing in church, but then shifted it to worldly music.
It's so crazy because the names we were just mentioning, like Jay-Z,
pioneers.
Beyonce, them, and even Kanye West. I mean, he doesn't sing; he's a rapper in his own in his own way. He calls himself the genius. You have Drake, you have Nicki Minaj, you have Cardi B. You know, all these things. Some openly discuss spiritual themes. Others use symbolism that raises questions.
Yes.
I think we can dive deep into symbolism a little bit, even where we couldn't. I mean, I was looking for some details about information about this, some of these artists. You can't find much unless you really start noticing the patterns in imagery. You
Yes.
start seeing their influence, the themes they use, like a picture, you know, this
The one eye.
the one eye thingy. Then you start understanding on what side they are, you know. How did hip hop become another venue? I mean, I know we're talking a little bit about it, but I want to go deeper for spiritual influence, because we've saw hard rock. I don't think we even touched much on the blues side,
Yeah.
but
You can't be.
yeah, well, I think we might need to go down there. But you also mentioned a little bit Snoop Dogg,
Yeah.
the song he created.
How it started is simple.
Yeah.
Rock and roll started getting defeated by Christ, and Satan went somewhere else.
Come
And
on.
funny enough,
Okay, we have to cut that one. That
Around-
one's going on TikTok.
around the 80s, rock and roll started to diminish a bit, and hip hop started to come up. That's why you had rappers.
So wait, so just slow down. So because I remember many parents back then were praying, because people used to pray back then, right? And when rock and roll was getting more diabolic, demonic, you people like Guns N' Roses, you know,
Yeah.
Nirvana and those things, and then I think the church rised up, start praying, so that the devil, according to you, changed strategy,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know what, they found me here, because he's not an inventor, he's a copycat.
Yeah.
So then he went to the church side of things, because hip hop, R&B, and them, they are more jazz and soul blues. It's kind of more black, I can say.
Yeah, you can say it's they,
Yeah.
but rock and roll
Even
is
though
also
rock and
black.
roll
Yeah.
is started by black people
Yeah.
as well. But so please just continue now your journey, Mike.
Yeah, like I said, he just left rock and roll and just went to hip hop, because what is now the number one genre in the world is hip hop.
It's hip hop
It's hip hop, it's rap. You don't see no rock and roll band
much anymore.
coming out
Yeah,
anymore,
but not much. Yeah.
because spiritually they have been defeated. But now it's now the turn of hip hop to have this way, because like I said,
Yeah.
in the 90s it started not only with Snoop Dogg, even with a rapper named Nas, when he rhymes, when I was 12 I went to hell for snuffing Jesus.
For what?
Snuffing is it's a
Yeah, I understand.
it's like for punching. He said, when I was 12 I went to hell for snuffing Jesus.
Oh, that's me. It's me
Yeah,
punching.
yeah.
I thought snuffing like drugs. Snuffing.
No, snuff is like when you punch someone and you run away.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's it.
that made him a world star, and he made that freestyle when he was 16 years old.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Okay.
and from that point on, you had other rappers like Big L, who used to call himself the Devil's Son, and it's
What's
funny.
the name of the first guy?
The first guy is Nas, Nas.
That's it.
Yeah,
Like NASA.
yeah,
Nas.
just Nas. No,
And
no
what's the
need-
name of the song?
It's Alive at the Barbecue.
How do you know this?
Like I said, like I told you, I've, you know, if we really want to dive deep of my testimony, like we can always do this. But like I said, these are things that I grew up with. I put it in my head.
And this, oh, he is young, man.
He was 16 when he said this, and from that point, everyone started to copy that style. To now, all of a sudden, everyone
He's muted.
Felt-
Don't worry. Yeah,
felt comfortable
yeah.
to profane evil worship and to get the rewards that they were seeing rock and roll people have.
So, guys, I don't know about this, eh?
Here it comes.
I went to hell for snuffing Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can go from that.
I am shocked.
That's literally, unfortunately, the tip of the iceberg.
And then, parents. Please. Yeah.
You have there's this band called Bone Thugs, a rap group called Bone Thugs and Harmony, where they're literally singing for a Ouija board.
Wait, slow down. Man, last time you were here, I was telling you to slow down again. You gotta slow down. What?
Yeah, and that album
What
went
the-
7 times platinum.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, please just repeat what you just said.
There was this band in the night. Like I said, this is the build up to how they went down. Their influence of evil and devil worship trickled down to what we see artists doing today.
Mm-hmm.
This the band, it was called Bone Thugs and Harmony. They were doing like
Bone?
this- Bone,
Like a bone
yeah, like Bone
and a thug
Thugs. Yeah, you can see it already. It already immediately shows up.
and harmony. That
Yeah,
one.
and if you just put Mr. Ouija, you will get. They did it not once but twice.
How'd you spell that, man?
I think you do OU.
Ouija.
Yeah, so OU, and then IJA.
OU
IJA.
I.
Yeah, you can see it already.
That's how I spell you. Hey guys, forgive me, man. So this is the one.
They're both, not one. They're two.
Yeah,
There's
these are them.
That was their first album.
Two.
Went and sold went 4 times platinum, and the second album I think it went about seven times platinum. With their
5 million views.
yeah, just if you want, you can. If you just listen, these are the influences. These are the people when they say when you want to rap, do your research and trying to sound or do like this, trying to sound and do like them.
Oh, yo. So which one can we play?
You can play the first one.
This one.
Yeah,
Zie.
that was their first album.
De nieuwe
My
auto.
God. Hè? Dit moet ook gebeuren, jongens. Hè? I even thought I did everything in my power to make
Hero
sure,
app.
this is gone. My God. So these things, do you understand that sometimes I thank God that I don't know much about this type of this world. So which part are we gonna listen? Because
It's the whole song. It's literally a spirit chant towards the devil through that Ouija board.
let's just get some snippets. Give me some sound.
Ouija, are you with me? Ouija, are you with me?
This is such incantation, yo.
Ouija, are you with me?
Wait. You get chills from this nonsense. Here, the way the thing start.
Yeah.
You know what? This made me give me a vision of like Freemasonry, wearing all these things, walking into this building, and they're doing this thing. Hey, Ouija, are you with me?
And if you go further,
I can't.
they will ask the Ouija board if they will die of murder. If they would die of murder. 2 years after that, their manager died. Easy. That's why I'm saying, like, if people tell
some-
us,
Yeah.
if people tell us that we're reaching, let's say we're reaching, but we're just trying to put links together. How comes this song, which is clearly an satanic practice, where you ask someone if you are going to die, and then the manager, the one who literally put them on, passes away not 2 years later?
Ask them. Look at them and ask them. How come? Please go on. Ask them right there. On the camera.
No, this is not personal, brothers and sisters. It's not personal, but I'm just saying, if we're not here. If you tell us that we're reaching, of course, you have your opinions or whatnot. But how can certain evil and demonic practices can be done openly, and no consequences be attached to it for someone else's success to rise? Because, like I say, I'm also trying to give you the reward. It's not an album that they brought out and it sold 50,000 copies or it didn't do nothing. These are multi-platinum albums. These are bands that go worldwide till this day. These are people who get into Rock and Roll Hall of Fames, BET Hall of Fames. Like, these guys are getting honored. They are getting praised, elevated for the works that they have done and they've continued to do. But these are the things, how they come into the business. And this is always, the pattern is always their first albums, their best work. They always say an artist's best work is always its first album. Because that is when he's the most hungriest. Then is you have nothing to lose. It's either this album makes it or where there's nothing. How come that these things, these patterns happen often and the reward is imminent, is immediately?
Please, this is why in the Bible you're reading the chapter and then you come to the point where you say, Sailor, think about it. Please think about it. Because I do believe that this information we are sharing today, as my brother he says, like, it's not personal. It's not to attack you, to antagonize you, to tell you how bad you are, how unholy you are for daring to listen to this type of music. No, but this is just to give you knowledge and understanding, to help you get an idea of what type of playlist you're listening to.
Yeah, and like I said in the beginning of the conversation, I'm still struggling too. You know, I'm still trying to find my way too, in order to leave this music behind, because I've been listening hip hop and rap music. I've been listening to it since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Downloading illegally songs on my MP3.
Oh yeah,
going
what
to
were you
school
using
every
then?
day? At that time,
Yeah,
YouTube
to download.
converter, of course. I go straight to the source.
I got straight to this. There used to be somewhere a software called LimeWire or something.
Yeah, LimeWire. Yeah. It was like the illegal part. Like I think LimeWire you could also do music and stuff. No, movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LimeWire. You could download quite a lot of things because it was a torrent, BitTorrent.
Yeah.
You used to use torrent stuff to download.
Exactly.
My goodness, this is just rich. So let's just move on to, before we get too deep. Oh, we already got it too deep. I don't think you can get any more deeper than this. I mean,
No, if you show them the Snoop Dogg, that will be a good one.
There's a part you say in this one. They're asking, just give me sound, Kati. They're asking if
Come again, dear Mr. Ouija. I want to know my future.
Will I die of murder, of bloody murder? Come again.
put the sound down a little bit because it's in the red.
Murder, more
Just a little bit up. Yeah, stop.
murder, more murder.
I think we just passed the part where they asked him.
Yeah.
I want to know my future.
Will I die of murder?
Want to know my future.
Will I die of murder, of bloody murder? Come again.
Dear Mr. Ouija, I want to know my future.
Will I die of murder, of bloody murder?
Would I die
Will I die of murder?
murder
Of bloody murder.
of bloody murder? Lord have mercy. I do think that I'm multitasking guy, so this is just crazy. Me, I thought we already have like I got an idea what we're thinking about it, but apparently I have no single idea. So we've touched a little bit on the hip hop, right? So now we come to today, the digital age. And I'd like us to really look at the how am I gonna present this, because this, I think this one bring us from where we start from Bokoko.
Yeah.
Bring us to Bokoko and other viral content. We also because when I was doing the research, I came across this movie called K-pop. And K-pop is a mixture of I'm not even sure, I think it's Korean.
Yeah, I think it just stands for Korean pop. It's like Korean
pop,
bands
yeah,
or
pop
artists.
electronic music, you know, and so what I'm trying to figure out now, I want to see how I'm going to introduce this next segment, because this next segment even is let me say it's a bonus, it's on the cake. But before we go to the next segment, let's look at Snoop Dogg, because you mentioned it and it just hit my mind again.
Yeah.
Let's look at Snoopy Doggy Doggy.
He's the most famous, they say he's the most famous rapper in the world.
Yeah, and because how come I don't have that in my notes? Who am I going to blame for this? I prepare my own note this time, so there's no one I can blame for it. Because I thought on Snoop Dogg, we were going to talk about his album. Is the song that
The song, yes.
that
The song.
that sold the highest number of records.
So when this his album came out, because back then first week sales was a big thing in music.
Yeah, indeed.
It was the highest first week sale of a debut artist ever. But now one of the singles of that song, of that album, was Murder Was the Case.
Murder Was the Case.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the one.
And I'm just going to say this, and people can listen to the lyrics. I will not say anything. Unfortunately, I can rap the whole song, unfortunately. But I won't say anything this is more for the people who think that we're reaching and we're just trying to pull things out of thin air. You can just look at the clip yourself, listen to the lyrics,
Yep.
and judge for yourself. And now see that this guy is the most famous
Influential
rapper.
hip-hop
in the
artist
world.
in the world. So, can you? I'm gonna pause and then you continue.
Yeah.
Just let's let the commercial pass by. The devil is a liar. You should leave me alone. My goodness, because I think guys, listen, we're coming at the end of the show, so don't worry. Don't miss out on the bonus. Listen, if you've made it this far, don't miss out on watching the bonus, because the bonus is gonna be mind-boggling. If you thought music is crazy, you wait till you get to hear what the movies are bringing in our attention today, because it's also crazy. Let me say it's just same crazy as it is. Yeah, give me some sound.
We have just arrived live on the scene of a murder that happened late last night. And although details are very sketchy, we do know that one of the shooting victims is rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg. There was apparently a lot of gunfire here last
Aquí
night.
aparecieron el Snoop Doggy Dogg. No sabemos por qué es motivo, pero
Yeah, keep it there. My goodness. I'm gonna stop it now, because I don't want to get a copyright claim. So the text, what does it say?
If I can,
Yeah.
he goes as I look up at the sky, my mind starts tripping. A tear drops my eye. My body temperature falls. I'm shaking and they breaking, trying to save the dog. Pumping on my chest and I'm screaming. I stop breathing. Damn, I see demons. Dear God, I wonder, can you save me? I can't die, my boo-boo's about to have my baby. I think it's too late for praying. Hold up. A voice spoke to me and he slowly started saying, bring your lifestyle to me, I'll make it better. How long will I live? Eternal life and forever? Or will I be the G that I was? I'll make your life better than you can imagine or even dream of. So relax your soul, let me take control. Close your eyes, my son. My eyes are closed. And then if you look at the imagery, what I say and what it portrays, you will see what is
Paints the
actually
whole
happening.
picture.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. So that's the devil coming in the form of a...
Yeah.
There he is. So, okay, let's just stop it there, because the devil's in the detail.
Yeah.
I don't want to influence you guys. People get possessed by watching the show. That's not the idea.
Yeah.
The idea is for you to be free. So, basically, guys, the devil's in the details. You just hear that lyrics itself. It's like you are listening to the music. The fact that you can recite it, you're like almost making a contract with the enemy.
Absolutely.
And he's not the only one.
No.
And this album, you said this is like 9 years ago.
This album is 1993.
1993. It was uploaded 9 years ago.
Yeah, but that's like I said. This is how they come in. Do you understand what I'm trying to convey?
Yeah.
This is how they. This is not his. This is
He's
their
one of
first works where they immediately, like I say, in rock and roll, they saw the demonic worship. This is how hip hop immediately comes in. That's why even Jay-Z in the song, he says, even if Jehovah Witness, but he'll never testify.
Even if what now?
Even if Jehovah Witness, he will never testify.
Even if Jehovah
Witness, he will never testify.
Wait. Can you say that again?
So even if Jehovah Witness, he will never testify.
Can you elaborate?
So literally, because actually the whole song is called The Evils. It's called Devils. So you already know the pattern of, or the
Even your
concept.
boy Jay-Z, I'm doing like this. I'm not pointing a finger at you. I'm just pointing a finger at the devil, whatever. No. I don't mean it to be personal. Really, this is coming from the heart of love to just inform you. That's what that's what the Glory Today show is all about. Really, to just bring information. What you do with it is up to you. Even if Jehovah's Witness, he will never testify. Please explain what it means.
What it literally means is, with all the evil that he is doing, even God himself will not dare to confront him. And it is in the terms of street levels of like testifying in court, testifying that, okay, this guy did something bad.
Yeah.
Because even in his same song, he says, life ills poison my body. I never prayed to God. I prayed to Gotti. Gotti, the infamous mafia crime boss. He never prays to God. He only prays to Gotti.
Which song is that?
That's The Evils. That's the same song that I'm still referring to. And guess what? That was also his first album. And Lord and behold, our guy is a billionaire today.
It's more than a billionaire.
And that's why he called himself Jehovah.
That's why he called himself Jehovah, and
Yeah.
Beyonce call herself Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And this one brings us to another part this is so interesting where you just touch ground on. Guys, this is getting hot. Man, this is getting hot. Let me just say, if you want to support us, the best way you can do that just by sharing this content with friends and family, and make sure they like and subscribe. I say no more. So there is something I want to search for. Is a church? Because it's crazy. This is crazy. Don't put it on screen yet. Don't embarrass me like that. Don't embarrass me like that. My people. Okay, you can put it on the screen now, because otherwise people will think I'm just showing them a screenshot. I just did a Photoshop myself. I search it in... What did I search this in Google? I don't use Google. Since when do I use Google? Take me off screen, man. All this time I've been I've been here. Hey, okay. Just leave it there. Fine. Since we're here, let's stay here. So this is, you can bring it on the screen, please. This is what I want to show you guys. You see what I'm seeing, bro?
Mm-hmm.
This is the church of Beyonce. In this church, they worship
Beyonce, yes.
Even though they're trying to tell you they worship God, they just use Beyonce's songs.
Yeah. I've seen that before, yeah.
But they worship Beyonce because all the songs that they sing during the worship are the Beyonce song.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in the New York City.
And you even have a video clip of Beyonce idolizing Nigerian deities.
Mm-hmm. Nigerian deities.
Yeah. Like Oshun.
Look behind her, behind the priest or pastor, whatever that is.
Yeah, but that's just the...
For those in the bondage of racism, we need
It's so actually things
This
like
is
that.
sad.
Honestly, I find it hilarious.
It is hilarious, but
it's
also
like-
very sad.
It's like a little bit of an oxymoron. It's hilarious, but it's sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you can't take it serious, but you have to take it serious because
they are serious.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You see, even all those imagery in this thing, like we used to have before.
Symbol, like some of her most ardent.
Look at that. Look at that.
Crazy.
My goodness. This is crazy.
You have a whole oh my days.
People are lost. Guys, listen, I want to do a call to action right now, because I believe that we got to the place where I cannot just let you. So here's what I want you guys to do this week. Please, I beg of you, don't just look at me and say, who are you? I want you to take an honest look at your music library. All of you. Take an honest, I'm being honest, be honest. And I want you to listen, really listen to the lyrics. Pay attention to the imagery. Research the artists you listen to, those so-called your favorite artists, like what's on the screen. Can you put this on the screen right now, please, for me? The Beyonce. What's on the screen right now? Research this, because you can see her posture. Can you make it full screen, please, if you can? And just make it full screen. Just look at her posture on the screen, the way she stand there. She sits there, stand. And look at behind her. They look like demons worshiping her. She sit there like a Mother Teresa, a Mary, a goddess. You know, this is not just art, people of God. So do your research, check out the backgrounds, and make sure you also look at the try to link it to and then try to understand the spiritual influence, the spiritual affiliation, the spiritual connotation, the spiritual connections these things have, because this is not just for nothing. And I'm not asking you just to throw away all your music. Of course, I'll never dare to do that, even though I'm my own. If you're close to me, of course, I'll tell you that. But hey, I'm not asking you to throw out all your music. I'm asking you to become a conscious consumer of spiritual content, because that's what music is. It's a spiritual content. It's a spiritual content. Yeah. It's not for nothing we go and spend hours in the church, even no minutes, worshiping God, singing songs and playing music. Parents to be, mothers to be, fathers to be, parents, you guys, have conversation with your children about this. Have conversation with them. Sit down, watch this show together with them. I'm very sure it's going to be a blessing for you. It's going to empower you. Young people, it doesn't matter where you are, what part of the world you are at. Young people, every corner of the world, don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask questions. Go to your parents. You hear some word, you hear some songs, you don't understand it, make you feel some type of the way. Don't just rest for this kipperfell. How do you call it? Chicken skin. Yeah. How do you call it? Goosebumps. You know, listen, don't just settle for that. Have conversation. Parents, have conversation with your children. Young people, don't wait for the parent to have conversation with you for you to know. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask them question about what you're feeling, what you're listening to, the way it makes you feel, the dreams you are having. Don't be so scared of it, whether they're sexual or spiritual. Find that one of the parents that can listen and have a conversation with them. Ask them, let's go for a walk. I want to talk to you. And just ask them. And remember, we can enjoy music while still being spiritual discerning. While still being discerning spiritually. We can still enjoy music. Because these things of like just music, just want to have fun, I want to have joy. That's how the devil is infiltrating many of the young children. Bonus. Now we go to the bonus section. You guys have been waiting for this. And this is crazy. Our bonus is about this. Let me see if I can play for you guys this video. And hopefully YouTube will not freak out about it. Check this out, guys.
The world will know you as pop stars. But you will be much more than that. You will be hunters.
Hey! This is the men's bathhouse. Get out of here!
They're stealing the souls of our fans?
Let's send those disgusting demons back to the depths where they belong!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Let's get battle ready.
can destroy the hunters for good. It's time for a new strategy.
You're all I can think of. Every drop I drink up. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop.
My first drink at it.
The demon boy band? They're coming after the fans.
You're my soda pop, my little soda pop.
The Sasha Boy.
Let's go get these guys. You think we're just gonna let you steal our fans? You're gonna have to fight us for them.
Yeah, this plane's trashed. Everything is at stake.
It's a takeout. So sweet, so easy on the eyes, but hideous on the inside. Whole life spinning lies, but you can't hide, baby. Nice try.
Yep. So this one is out now. And so before we wrap up the show today, I wanted to share this content with you guys because I watched the movie. It is a movie on Netflix. Unfortunately, it's there available for everybody to watch. And it looks great. I'm telling you, it looks great. The graphic, the songs, the music. I'm a musician, so I'm vulnerable, to good music and stuff like that. And Netflix just dropped this animated series called K-pop Demon Hunter. And while it looks so harmless, I'm just going to read my notes while I wrote in this one because I wanted to emphasize on this one. While it looks like harmless entertainment, there's some deep spiritual stuff happening here. And parents and young ones, please, you need to know this. You need to know about this. Let's just dive deep. Have you seen this, first of all? Do you know about this one?
No, I haven't really seen it, honestly. Okay.
From the just preview there, there's two groups. You saw that, boys and girls group.
Yeah.
And of course, we're in that jar of equality and all kind of things. I'm not going to go there. Let's focus on the topic. So, and the girls, they're the demon hunter. They're put together to hunt demons. But while they are hunting demons, can I just reveal the secret about the whole movie?
Yeah, I will not watch it. I'm not really interested in watching it.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Let's just put it on the screen. This is a spoiler. If you don't want to know the spoiler, just skip this few seconds. One of the girls in the group, she's a demon among the girls. But she's been covering it up because the demons, they're recognized by the tattoos they have.
Yeah.
So she is a demon because of her background and her family. I think she's a daughter of a demon. But Satan was complaining in the hell that he does not have control over her. Every other demon Satan will just summon them and will come to him. But except her.
Okay.
So, but she's been fighting to be free from those tattoos. So now, funny enough, they will organize big, massive concerts. Hear this. You have to listen to this, beloved. Because in those concerts, the more people that gathers, the more powerful they become. They have amazing voices. So they use their voices to be able to infiltrate in people's hearts through what they hear, right? So they get to their hearts, they influence their heart, they touch their soul. And when they get access to their soul, those girls, they call in this movie that the positive one fight against demons. So what they do, they have access to their heart, then the heart give them access to their soul. And then because of that, when they hit certain notes in their music, it releases an energy because they collect souls from all the people there. Then it releases such a surge of energy throughout the whole world. And that energy covers the world so that demons will not be able to come. Because apparently the other demons comes and steal the souls. And you see, they suck the soul out and the soul goes to Satan. Satan becomes stronger by it. So his goal is to get as many souls as possible such a biblical thing to think about.
Absolutely.
So Satan is goal to get as many souls as possible. So now, those are the demons that are fighting to defend those souls. But funny enough, Satan came with a strategy whereby he released a group of boys. They have specific name. I will get to their names in a minute. And those boys, their job is to do exactly the same as the girls, but this time it's for the kingdom of Satan. The girls are fighting for the kingdom of the physical kingdom of the people, and the boys are fighting for the kingdom of Satan. But then that demon girl ended up falling for the lead singer of the Satan group, and she's the lead singer of the girls group. But then the Satan group deceived her at the last concert, because their idea was in the last concert they will collect so many people because they were building fame. See how it goes in the world as well. Slowly by slowly, you're building influence. You're building influence, so that when you do that big concert, many people can flew in from all over country. So they had to have such a number of people for them to release such a high voltage surge that will relieve a gold type of energy that will cover the world forever. That was their plan. So she colluded with a boy who was from Satan.
Yeah.
And this is such also an inspiration what I'm about to share with you, because Satan is a deceiver. Is the father and mother of all lies. So the girl was having a conversation with that boy, and the boy expressed his emotions and feelings and told her information that made her trust her even more and say, okay, let's do this together. But on the day of the concert, because Satan pulled the boy back in hell and said, you are planning something with a girl against me. The boy said, no, I'm not. It's just part of the play. And the Satan say, no, because if you were, I'll tell her that you've been lying to her. You didn't tell her all the truth. You see, that's how the devil does. That's how the devil functions. Anything that you have not brought to the light is going to use it against you to keep you entangled on his little finger. So every time he can just manipulate. It's like, if you do not do as I say, I'm going to reveal your secret.
Yeah.
That's what I said to the boy. And the boy was forced to do what? To abide by Satan, by the devil. So at the end of he betrayed the girl. But obviously, every type of movie like this, the one I always have, they have to have an happy ending.
Like good ending,
so
yeah.
I leave that happy ending. But my advice, first of all, is to watch it. So let's get deep into the names, because I think the names have meaning.
Yeah.
Names have meaning. And I could not let you guys go without giving you the meaning. And if you're going to watch it, do it on your own risk. Okay? Do it on your own risk. Don't say they did not warn me. Don't say they did not tell me. Because let me see if I can get a good look. Because if you see this image right now, this is a perfect image. Just put this image on the screen for me. This image illustrates the girls fighting demons, because demons, their barrier has been weakened.
Yeah.
So somewhere there were leaks. Man, this is so biblical, because our prayer life strengthens us, right? We have a dome of protection. And whenever there is a leakage, because sometimes you say there's a weak link somewhere in the family, you need to pray deliver so that the devil will not have his way again.
Yeah.
That's why it's happening here. Somewhere there were a leak. So there was like a hole that were open, that the devil was able to open, so demons were able to come through. So they were going to fight demons. So now, bring us on the super source if you can. Let's just break down the names a little bit. Because let's start. Because the movie, first of all, is targeting youth and teens.
Yeah.
That's their audience, because this is really focused on youth and teens.
Yes.
And the youth and teens, most of the time, they don't have time to research these things, to understand what's happening here. They don't take time for that. So, Guima is the main villain's name, literally means a ghost. Because the main villain, whom are called the devil, in the movie they call him Guima.
Okay.
G-W-I. Then there is a middle stripe here.
Yeah.
How do you call it in English? I don't know. Middle stripe here,
Like a dash.
Like a dash. Then you have Ma. Guima. the main villain's name literally means ghost demon.
Okay.
So it's called Guima, and his name means ghost demon in Korean.
Mm-hmm.
I even had the Korean letters. I'm like, what am I going to do with that? Can't even read that. So it's called ghost demon. It's not only demon or ghost only. It's called ghost demon. And then the Saja boys, those boys that are called the Saja boys. Let me see if I can show you who they are. This is their dresses. You know, everything looks amazing. Show me the Saja boys. We're wrapping it up, guys. So don't just bear with me. I just want to show you quickly what this is about. So we get it. These are it's called Saja boys.
That is how the K-pop guys actually look like.
Yeah?
Yeah, they really the same style, the same posture.
Really?
That's why it's
And these are the Saja boys. And this one, what do you say? Yeah, the girls too.
Yeah, the girls too. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. So these aren't just cool band names, by the way. This is really a specific meaning. The Saja boy means messenger of the, guess what? Afterlife. Saja means messenger of the afterlife. It's
crazy.
Anyway, basically Korean Grim Reapers.
Mm-hmm.
Korean Grim Reapers. That's what it means. Messengers of the afterlife. And Hentrix are the girls' name. The girls, they are called Hentrix. Because I think we saw their names somewhere here. Just to get you their names. Come on, guys. Them. Is there somewhere I can see their names to just show you guys? So you might not feel like I'm pulling this out of a thin air.
Maybe in the beginning?
In the beginning. Let's look at the beginning. Probably somewhere there. Anyway, the girls, they are called
You.
Let me see if I can get it. I can't find in the movie, but if you watch it, I advise don't watch it. But Hentrix and the girls group came from the lineage of Mudang, Korean shamans and the spiritual medium. I think you know something about the shamans, right?
Yeah, shamans, yeah.
The shamans. Call it shamans? Shamans.
Shamans.
Shamans. So that's what the origin of the name Hentrix. So everything is so spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Korean shamans and spirit mediums. So the big picture that this isn't just entertainment, is introducing our kids to Korean shamanism and folk religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea here. Introducing kids with kids not even knowing. And if we even go deep, you're gonna be able to unlock other secret. But we're running out of time, so let me just cut this short, guys. This is my closing challenge to parents. But first of all, do you have something to add on this one?
Yes, definitely. What I've seen there, it's very familiar, in the sense of the obsession, and literally the feeling of you get sucked. Now your soul gets sucked out of your body.
Yep.
And it's specifically going back on the obsession part, because you saw them screaming and jumping on them.
Yes.
You can literally see the same format in real life. But even in my personal experience, there was a time in my young years I could not go to school without listening to their music.
Really?
Sometimes I would walk. Sometimes back in the days I would walk and I had my earphones, and then my earphones would break. My whole mood would shift. There's nothing bad happening to me. I'm still healthy, still protected by God. But the fact that I cannot walk to school without listening to their music, my whole mood shifted. I was aggressive at school. I was angry. You feel the need to be with them. every single day, and the only way you can do that is through their music.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing, even, well, the funny thing, I'm saying it in a satire type of way. When the artist passes away, it feels like your uncle left. It feels like your auntie left. It feels like your own father left. I would be crying, sitting in my room, listening to all their songs, like soaking myself deep into their presence, even though they're not there. And even that is maybe for another time. That's why when the devil doesn't need you, he throws you away.
Yeah.
And then you passed away. But now the funny thing about an artist is they make more money of you when you're gone than when you're alive.
You get disposed, then they start.
You die,
on you.
but they make more profit off of you when you're not here than when you're alive and well. And that is what you don't know, because the funny thing is, I would then buy all their albums, all their projects, all the things that they did. And it just happens like this. You just do it without even consciously knowing, like, okay, what am I actually buying? Is it even a good project? You just want to hear his voice again on another context.
Because you it's like you've been possessed.
You've been lit. That's the word. It's music. That's why music is not a physical thing. It's a spiritual thing.
Very spiritual.
How can someone you never met in your life, you don't know how this person is,
on you.
but he has such an influence on you? I remember, just I don't want to shift the topic, but Will Smith said one time that sometimes he goes to the gas station and he asks people to give him money to fill up a tank, the gas. Now, mind you, not to judge those people, these are the same people. If your uncle or your auntie or a friend of you will say, yo, I need $20 or 20 euros for something, can you loan me? You will lie to him and say no. But Will Smith says people will give it to me. They will literally, mind you, they know I'm in a financial possibility that can fill up the tank
of everybody.
Everybody who comes that day. But just because of the spiritual influence that he has through music, through movies, people that he doesn't even know are able to give money to a guy who already has it and then people are surprised when we say that these things are spiritual, because they don't know Will Smith. They see him for 5-10 seconds maybe at the most, and they leave. Even when these artists or celebrities walk outside, they make sure there are bodyguards next to them because they don't want to touch you. They don't want to talk to you. Maybe do a quick picture for the promotion to portray that they're nice people, they're approachable,
to attract more people.
Yeah, but it goes very deep in there. So that's why this series really emphasizes the fact of worldly stars really have mastered the art
of deception,
of
and
deception,
really.
and manipulating your life and making it feel like you cannot do it without them. You cannot have a great life musically, entertainment-wise without them.
My goodness. This is not just entertainment, really, to be honest with you. My parents, this is now as we end the show. Do you know what your kids are watching? Do you know what your kids are watching? Young people, are you aware of the spiritual message in your entertainment? This is why we need to stay alert, and we need to really use the spirit of discernment when we are listening or watching this stuff, even reading books, to be honest with you. And the next topic we'll be dealing with will be games, video games, because I feel like I would definitely have to do that. And it will be important. Come here. Come on. Come on. Oh, I have the doggy here. You need a bit of attention. Come here. Come here. Come here. So, what am I saying? I'm just saying that we really need to take time and start analyzing spiritually analyzing the things we watch, the things we're listening to, the music we listen to, because I believe we are coming to a day and age where we cannot be procrastinating about these things anymore. We cannot be pretending that they don't exist anymore. We cannot just be acting like, no, this does not impact our lives anymore. We cannot be doing that anymore. So my advice today, or let me say, God's words remains. Maybe I should mention this, our anchor, because we all of this just bring Philippians 4:8 that tells us to think about things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. This applies whether we are talking about Bokoko, whether we are talking about Marilyn Manson, or even Netflix movies. My friend, where do you want to go? Even Netflix movie. I do believe that even if we're talking about Netflix movie, it's all spiritual warfare. How do you apply biblical discernment to all these different forms of musical, spiritual, and influences? Because you come from this world. How did you come of it? How did you apply, let me say, a biblical discernment to help you navigate these waters?
Is surrounding yourself with people that want to see you grow spiritually. I think that is the most important part. I think in English they say birds of the same feather flock together.
Yeah.
So you
I
cannot
like to send it and say birds from the same father.
Yeah. So you cannot intermingle with people who are still in that music or not. I'm gonna say, like I said in the beginning, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm perfect. I'm still going through that process of breaking those chains. What helps me a lot, of course, is my wife. She's also very supportive of helping me with it. I think also if I call it, if you are being held spiritually accountable, and what I mean by that is that you go to a certain church, that you are under a certain covering that also holds you accountable in your personal and your private life.
True.
That also helps me to realize, hey, maybe I should change certain ways or certain
habits,
things
yeah.
of certain habits. So I think for me, if I can give, if you allow me, of course, to give me this advice, I think those two are very important to see or to work on those differences.
So if I was going to ask you, what are your three, as we wrap up this comprehensive, what are your three takes away for our viewers from this show?
Like what they can take away from this
Yeah.
is, I think just honestly analyze and research everything which you basically, listen.
Things you consume.
Things you do, things you
Yeah.
consume.
Yeah.
Because even the gaming part, there's also like I've been gaming ever since I was 6 years old. So it's also a thing that really influenced me. It's also the video games, what they do, and how that influenced people's life as well. Because music is also heavily involved in gaming and the imagery. And I think the most important one is to always rely on Christ. Always walk with him, even though, because there is a thing in this world that we have is peer pressure and groups pressure.
True.
And they make you feel like an outcast just because you have a different output or a different viewpoint. But that is something that you cannot fold with this.
No.
And that's why I say, like, the best thing to do is to be in a group where people acknowledge the same dangers and the same negativities that you have in order for both of you to grow.
Indeed. I couldn't agree more with you. And any final words to encourage our viewers?
Yeah, like I just
you've said a lot already, of course.
Yeah, I've said, yeah.
You know,
no,
so,
but I think you can always say more. I think, like I said, like just have for me, what helps me is spiritual accountability. Have someone who is above me spiritually,
yeah,
that holds me accountable when I'm doing wrong. and if he sees that I'm start to do wrong. That is something that really helps. That is something that is very saving for yourself. I think if you find that person or individual, that is a big step. That's a big step for you.
Amazing. Thank you for this incredible and comprehensive, journey.
Yeah.
Friends, it has been a privilege to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And our viewers, thank you so much for connecting with us today. It has been an amazing topic, somehow deep. So you might be feeling punch in your spirit a little bit. You're like, Glory, what did you say now this to me? Now that I know, I know. I think that's the whole purpose of you watching us, for you connecting with us today, because I believe it was the will of God for you to be here and for you to know and learn about this information. We've covered everything from ancient African spiritual practices in viral songs to Netflix movies about demon hunting, the K-pop stars, The spiritual warfare in music is real, guys. It is surreal. It is not a joke. It's not something for you to neglect. So I don't want you to overlook it. And that's why I'm taking really time, even looking at my notes often, just to make sure we cover as much as possible. Because this is something that has been put aside for so long. But the thing is for you to know, our God is much more real. He is much more powerful.
And they know it.
And you know it. And if you do not know it, by days, now you know. Our God is much more powerful. And I do believe you know it. And sometimes knowing and doing are two different things.
Yeah.
You might know something, but you're still a little bit, how'd you say? What's the word of it? You're still procrastinating a little bit here and there. But please don't, because your life depends on Him. I pray that God will give you wisdom and discernment in especially everything concerning creativity and entertainment. You need really wisdom and discernment. Remember and understand that this timeline is not about, let me just say, isn't about fear. Because sometimes people feel like, everything we've been talking about it here is all about just planting fear. And I'm like, this is not about fear. It's about freedom through what we say in the beginning, knowledge. It's about freedom through knowledge. Whether the songs we're talking about it with the 41 million viewer, the one from Awareness on Bokoko. Whether talking about rock legends with the spiritual agendas, or Hollywood exploring these themes, we can understand that all this information that we brought here is to give us wisdom, is to give us understanding, to give us knowledge, so we know how to stand. And as a last word, if this blesses you, please, I want to encourage you, share it with someone. Don't just keep this for yourself. If you feel like this has been a blessing to you, share it with someone who needs this understanding. And feel free to use some of our favorite hashtag to hashtag us into the movies like, spiritual warfare, music discernment, Glory Today show, faith journey, transformation. Just hashtag tag us in there so that we know that we are really impacting the world one tree at a time, one soul at a time. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, now X. Check with us. Our link tree. We have a link tree where you can find all the social media accounts. All that is in the description. Just check with us there. And if you have any question, drop us an email on question@theglory.today, and I'll be eager to hear from you. We're here to inspire, to inform, and bless you as you walk in God's wisdom through every phase of life. Guys, until next time, my name is Glory, and this is
Gigi.
And we approve this message. Bye-bye, SYSY.